Hey guys, GP3 was a surprising success despite the limited player count that we had of only 7 players. But before I go into introducing the players and the memory wall and just everything that happened, let me explain to you what it is. I've made 2 videos on GP2 before when I've done seasons 1 and 2. I've also done a game called The Battle. But The Battle is a different game, it's a side game, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about a new game that I'm also doing. But GP3 is hugely inspired by Big Brother. I take about 8 to 11 players and throw them into a group chat, have them face challenges, and then the player with the lowest score will head into the passing, along with 2 players that the winner must choose after 24 hours, finding out that they won. They will be told in secret because on the internet there's this thing called trolls, and a troll is out to get you and will never reveal themselves unless they want to. And that is the aspect of the game. You play mobile games, give it 24 hours, and then you're golden. Alright, so we only had actually 7 players, sadly, but it seemed to have worked out really well. So let's And as you know, our memory wall is the next thing to be shown off, so take a look at this. There were a lot of twists and turns in this game, so let's just jump right into it with week 1. I actually have some notes here to help me sort of remember. I also forgot to mention that there were special guests that did come into the game. So, in week 1, our special guests were Steph and Fred from GP2, who both faced the second double eviction of that season. Fred and Steph were told to pick out a game. Fred chose Dunes, and Steph chose Paint Hit. I just want to clarify that this is not a promotion for any of these games that I mentioned. Usually I say they're playing a game, but that's because I don't remember what game it is. Now I have the games written. And so, you know, there goes that. Fred and Steph picked the players that they wanted to play in their game. So Fred had picked Chris, Brandon, Jackie, and Kylie, while Steph picked Prezi, Lindsay, and Kaylee. The twist was that there was no passing in this round, and that the winner from each game must choose a nominee from that game. In the end, the winners were Brandon and Kaylee, and Brandon had chosen Chris as his nominee, and Kaylee had chosen Prezi as hers, and at the eviction by a vote of 3-0, so it was unanimous, Prezi was the first house guest evicted from the game. Here we go. After Prezi's eviction, they wanted to go straight away into the next challenge, so they were given Helix Jump. After 24 hours, the winner was Kylie. The lowest scoring player and the first player to head to the passing was Jackie. Kylie was then told to choose 2 people to send to the passing. She chose Brandon and Kaylee, and in the end, in the passing, Jackie, Brandon, and Kaylee are there to fight. The passing game that they played was Flappy Dunk. Brandon scored the highest, bringing him back into the game. Jackie and Kaylee both had to send out their speeches and became the final nominees, and by a vote of 2-1, Jackie was the next house guest evicted and out of the house. This one's actually a little complicated because both of them did not leave at the same time. So here's what you should know. We had another special guest, which was Sarah from GP1, and I picked out the game this time, and the game was Go Plane. She announced the game in a very fantastic way. Props to her. Shout out to her. The winner of that game was Brandon. The twist was a double eviction, and Kaylee, Jackie, Lindsay, and Kylie were basically on the chopping block. However, Brandon was allowed to save one of them before they all head down to the passing. Brandon had then chosen to save Kaylee. making Lindsay, Chris, and Kylie the final nominees in order to fight. The highest scoring player would be back in the game while the other two were evicted. Now, sadly, Kylie had some personal issues and had to leave the game a little early. She still, however, did go to jury. So there was Lindsay and Chris still had to fight for their life. In the end, Chris outbeat Lindsay, sending Lindsay packing and out of the game. This is it. This is the final say. And this is also the final twist in the game, where, for the first time in GP history, we had 3 finalists and 4 players in jury. So they all gave their pleads, their speeches, in order for them to choose who won, in order for the jury to see who they thought was deserving of winning. And I think it worked out really well. I'm not even going to lie to you. It seemed to have worked out pretty well. There was a nice taste of suspense that GP2 did not have. And so, just go into it. First, Gio, the GP1 winner, was there in order to crown the winner of GP3. The winner will be announced pretty soon. First, let's go over the votes. In the order of elimination, Pressy, Jackie, Kylie, and Lindsay. So, Pressy had voted for Chris. Jackie for Kylie. Kylie for Brandon. And that only left Lindsay's vote, in which she gave the winning vote of Chris. Giving Chris the win of 2-1-1. Congratulations, Chris. You are the winner of GP3. Ba-ba-da-ba! Get crowned by Gio. And let's just go over to his interview. So hey guys, how's it going? We are here with Chris. He is on the phone right now. He is the winner of GP3. And a very well-deserved winner at that. As the game was going on, his strategy was very, very unique. And Chris, say hi.
Hey guys.
Alright, so Chris, here's, hold on, let me turn off this fan. Alright, so Chris, going into the game, how did you feel at first?
Well, when I started, I felt like after playing Gio's first game and winning, actually probably dominating the entire opponents. I felt like that was boring, so I wanted to go into this game relax, take a step back and have thinking that I'm not a big target, and then when I actually have to participate and then go off, I will have to in the what was it called?
The passing?
Yeah, in that one.
Yeah.
I had 212 levels done in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I want to go off and just absolutely dominate.
Alright, so this is going to lead into my next question, since now we're on the topic of Gio's game. How does it feel being one of the strongest competitors in that game, and knowing that everyone was knowing that you were going to be a huge threat in that game, but that there was no bottom for you, to coming nearly at the bottom every time in this game?
I felt like I had to, so that people wouldn't think that those were people who would think, oh, this is a fluke. It's the game that he played in, he just won because he got lucky and everyone else is bad. No, I just wanted to just relax.
Alright. So, let's talk about your competitors. Out of every competitor that you have played with, out of all the competitors that you have played with, in Gio's game and then in mine, because I think almost everyone in there you have played with, except for Jackie, which relationship changed the most?
I feel like maybe Brandon, because with Presley, it was an awkward relationship in Gio's game. We became friends at the end. With this game, it was me and Brandon after the second Gio's game, where me and Gio enemies. Walking into this game, I thought he was gonna be like, oh, Chris is gonna be a target. So he came in and was like a good sport kind of.
All right. Were you surprised at Prezzy's first eviction?
Actually, I kind of was. I made a silly one. I made a silly quote saying, "Oh, 3 people for everyone who votes for me." I thought, like, that's a joke. I'm just like vote him off. He'd be easy. But everyone voted her off like unanimously.
Yeah, the votes were unanimous, and honestly, it sort of surprised me, but it sort of didn't. It was like they all, except for Jackie, they all played with her before, and so they know that she is a threat.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But now, let's go into week 2, because week 1 you and Prezi were on the block, and you were sort of surprised that she was the unanimous vote to evict. So week 2, it looked like it looked like you sort of it looked like you were actually safe no matter who won.
Yeah.
It really did. Brandon, I think, had told me that you had a very good social game, which is very huge in games like these.
Yeah, you kind of don't want to make an end with anyone. If you get become an enemy to everyone, then everyone's going to try to get you off. Because, let's just get away with this guy. This is going to be like a bad person. So let's just have fun.
Exactly. So, I'm actually really glad that you participated in this game. I honestly thought maybe you weren't going to participate because Geo's looked so easy.
Like, I honestly, you even said to yourself, I should have won Geo's second game. But, I didn't feel like it was deserving for me to win.
Yeah, you would have been the first person to win 2 games made by the same person. But I mean, you still are the first person to win 2 games, on Snapchat.
I'm going to come back to big better than winning that one off, so don't worry.
You're ready to pick up your rewards.
Yeah, like, I'm just coming here to relax, I mean, just,
Yeah,
like a week.
but I did remember what you said before. You said, when I told you that you would have won that game, you said, I'll just come back and win in yours. And look what happened. It was a vote of 2 to 1 to 1. And you outbeat Kaylee and Brandon.
Yeah, I feel like I was robbed one of the votes. Like, how can you guys think, like, she told me she voted for me. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, about that, I guess now...
And then Brandon was like, oh, okay, I might lose this one.
I think now, since everyone knows how the votes went, I could say this now. Kylie did vote for you, but then she switched up her vote. I wasn't sure why she switched up her vote, but she just did, and I was surprised to find that out because I thought no one was going to vote for Brandon.
Yeah, I thought, like, because I think, like, if she would have voted for me with the unanimous, like, it'd be impossible for anyone else to win. Basically.
Here's the thing: at this point, when you're in jury, there is no alliance, so it's not like, oh, she voted for Brandon, now we got to attack her. The game's over. Game's over. The whatever is done is done. But honestly, you and everyone else who played were actually really great competitors. So let's do a rundown real quick. Prezi, Jackie, Kylie, Lindsay, Kaylee, Brandon, and you in the order of how I see it. Because I know that Kaylee and Brandon were tied, so I just did ABC order and put Kaylee in third and Brandon in second.
Like 1, 2, and 4.
So, yeah, it basically it's like, okay, it's first, second. There is no third place. It just goes straight to 4.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chris, you were an awesome competitor. You were an awesome sport, dude. If you have any advice to give to anyone who wants to play in these games, what would you say?
Just to hop in and try to have fun. That's all that matters. That's what we did. Try to have fun.
Exactly. All right, Chris. Thanks a lot, man, for taking time out of your night to come and do this interview. It's definitely very, very wanted, and GP3 winners are the only winners that actually get to do this interview. So,
hopefully you have another next call. When's the next game?
yeah, that's right. I still have to introduce the next game. The next game is Big Brother, and it will be happening in a week.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna hop right back into the saddle with nice HOHs, power of vetoes, and evictions. So it's gonna be great. And a little advice to you, my friend, is Big Brother is an actual show. So if you want to know how to play, you could look it up on YouTube and sort of see how it goes. Alright, so guys, this is where we ended off. Chris, feel free to shout yourself out, and then...
Hey, just add me on Snapchat. What is going on?
What happened?
What is it being published on?
YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Link, I guess, I don't know.
Well, guys, that's about it for today's interview. Chris is our GP3 winner, and GP winners are the only winners that actually get this interview. The battle and Big Brother winners and any other game I decide to do in the future, there is no interview. It's just and there is no recap. GP, because it's my personal game, and the battle is also my personal game, but GP is what I started with, and so it gets more attention than any of the other games. So Gio, Alex, and Chris have all went through this interview. GP4 will happen on February, and there will be Yoon hours, all Yoon hours in the game to celebrate my 5th year on Yoon. So yeah, there you go. But Big Brother will be in about a week, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe. Congratulations again, Chris, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.